Hey there folks, Purple Rain 81 here, and today's video obviously is going to be going over modifications to your Glock pistols and why I feel you shouldn't do them. Now, before I get started in this, I know I'm going to have a lot of people immediately just wanting to disagree with me and say that, I'm a moron, I don't know what I'm talking about, and all that. I am not saying that any modification done to a Glock, let's say that you do slide cuts to lighten the slide, or create, press check serrations on the slide, or doing cuts to the frame or anything like that, stippling, lightening the trigger pull with a ghost connector to 3.5 instead of the standard 5.5. I'm not saying that these modifications don't have benefit. They do. I'm admitting that. And quite honestly, they do make the gun run better for you if you do these modifications. Now that that's out of the way, I'll explain why I don't think you should do them. If you change all of these different modifications to the pistol, let's say trigger pull for instance, you lighten it from a standard 5.5, which this is a factory pistol, nothing has been changed on it. This is my carry pistol, this is a Gen 4 G23, and the big brother that I have is a 22, Gen 3. The reason why I don't think that you should change it is because if you are, say you go to a range and you have a fully decked out Glock pistol. You've got slide cuts done to it, you've got a stippling job on the frame, you've lightened the trigger pull to 3.5, say you've got an extended mag release, or the controls have been changed out, you've changed out your sights to say fiber optics or something like that. You've got all these different modifications done to the pistol. You've virtually changed every aspect of shooting with that pistol. From the factory pistol. Now let's say that you go out and you shoot with that pistol, or when you go out to the range and you practice, or you do some sort of training event or something like that, you run with this heavily modded Glock because you do better with it with all of these modifications that you've done to the pistol, which makes sense, right? Now, if you practice or you do all these training events or anything like that with a modified pistol, and then you carry a pistol that is not modified in exactly the same manner, say you have that modified pistol for range time or training events or something like that, and this is what you carry here on your everyday carry or your concealed carry or whatever. Now, when you do that in an emergency situation, and say you have to draw and use that weapon, it can cause problems. The reason why is because you are now going from something that you practiced and you trained with, and all that muscle memory that you've built, with something that is not the same as what you now have to use in an emergency situation. Even the trigger pull. Let's just use that as an example of what I'm talking about. You're used to a 3.5 pull. You go to a 5.5 pull. That can cause problems with your accuracy. If you go to change out a magazine, God forbid, you have to use that many rounds, and you're used to a manual of arms that is different than what you're carrying, that can cause problems. Now, a lot of these things may be very minute issues, or it won't drastically change your accuracy or your effectiveness in using that weapon, deploying that weapon, but it still can. And this is why I don't think you should do that. Your only other option is to modify every single pistol that you train with in the exact same manner as the one that you're carrying, or if the one that you're carrying is the only one that you use for training or your range time when you're practicing. That's the only way to avoid any of those types of problems. Now, the reason why I don't do that, and I still don't recommend doing that, which, you can, as I said, that's one way to avoid any of those issues, is if you ever have to pick up, and Glocks especially, because in my opinion at least, this is the most heavily sold pistol in the freaking world. We sell more Glocks at the gun store that I work at than any other pistol, hands down. And I think most of you would agree that most people that own a pistol, odds are it's probably a Glock, or they at least have one. If you ever have to pick up somebody else's Glock, if they haven't changed it in exactly the same manner that you do, if you have to use that weapon, you're not going to do as well because you're used to using the weapon that you've modified somehow. Now, there's nothing wrong with, in my opinion, again, any of the configuration that a Glock comes factory. I know that these are plastic, a lot of people hate them, But I have no problem with Glock factory sights. I actually kind of enjoy the sight picture that you get with their factory sights. This trigger pull is more than adequate. Most people like the Glock triggers. They're crisp, they break nice, have an excellent reset. Especially with the Gen 4, the mag release button is more than adequate. And overall, the manual of arms on a Glock is very straightforward. They're very easy to shoot, they're easy to learn. You can be highly accurate with them. They're ultra reliable. On and on and on. They're Glocks. I don't really have to go into all that. But this is the reason why I don't feel that you should modify your Glocks. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack from that, but whatever. If you disagree or you agree, leave it in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.